Hello friends, and welcome back to TBH3. Today we're going to assemble our felted freeform crochet bag and change purse. And I'm going to start with the change purse. I've decided to take one of the flowers that we dyed the last time, that we had felted and dyed, and stick it on the side of the change purse. And I'm going to use a zipper instead of this hardware for the top. When we use this type of hardware, it actually reduces the height of the bag, and I don't want to do that. So, because then I wouldn't be able to use this flower. So I'm going to sew on a flower, and it's totally up to you. So I'm going to do the flower first, and then we'll do the zipper. The zippers I have are, I believe, 7 or 9 inches long. So I just merely cut it to fit the top of the bag. And then I will, when I thread up the needle and before I add the zipper, I'll go through and on the end here, I will wrap some thread around here, which will prevent the zipper from coming off the end of the bag, or off the end of the zipper pull off of the end of the zipper. I am using a heavyweight cotton thread. This is also the same thread that I use when I do some of my leather work. So you just, take off a piece of your thread. You grab one of your needles. And when you're adding the flower, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can kind of catch the fabric in the middle so you don't actually see the thread on the rows, and that's how I'm going to do it. Or you could make the stitching as part of the design. I've seen where people have felted sheets of fabric and then cut out flower shapes, and then when they add those to their finished product, you outline the edge with your thread, and that becomes part of your design. For me, I am going to bring our thread through. And I'm going to put it here. So what I want to do is, instead of going straight through like that and you would see the black line, I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can make it closer. There we go. So what I'm going to do is go in the middle, and thankfully the felted fabric is thick, so you can kind of go through the middle. So you don't see it on the top side, and it's in the middle, and I'm going to puncture it through and pull it in. That's it. And then I'm just going to do that around so that the flower is firmly attached. So to do the next one, add the zipper. We will see the thread from that, because there's no way to hide the zipper. So you cut a piece of thread for your zipper. And I like to line the zipper with the edge of the piece you're doing. And because this is being seen, you want to take extra care to... So I will finish this side of the zipper, and when I have the zipper sewn on this side, I will come back and show you how I start the other side. Okay, so I have finished adding it, and I did okay about keeping the stitches kind of straight. When I got to the end, you can see I added black here to keep the zipper from falling off. So now what I'm going to do is unzip it, flip it over, and then sew this on the other side. And when I'm finished with that, I'll be back. Hello, and here is the finished change purse. We have sewn on the rows on the outside. I have sewn all around the edge. Added the zipper, you open it. I didn't line this, so when you're looking at the inside, you can kind of see like where I had sewn the flower on. If you want to line this, you certainly can. As you can see, I did not. So that's the change purse with a little zipper added on. It's cute. It's nice. Keep your loose change, or you know, if you keep Tylenol or any other kind of medications with you, you could throw them in here. It's perfect. So moving on to the main bag, I have already got out, and my sewing machine was having fits today. So I started this with the sewing machine and finished it doing it by hand because I was like, I don't have the patience to figure out what's up with the machine today. So I just keep it moving. So I did finish it by hand, and the rest of it we'll be doing by hand. There's something wrong with the tension on the machine. I'm not sure what it is. So that I have already done. In addition, these are the handles that I will be using on the bag. I got these at Joann's, and what I've already done with these is I took some charcoal gray 100% wool yarn and made these little tabs, which I just crocheted a chain of 15 and then double crochet in the third chain from the hook, and then each double crochet across. I felted them. I did glue them together with some shoe glue. Even though it's like shoe repair, it's the best glue in the world. So I did that on all four sides, and this is how we'll be attaching these to the outside bag. So that's ready to go. The liner is ready to go. So the next step is to actually start with adding our decorations for this bag. So even as I was, kind of playing around with this before, when I was trying to get ideas of how I want to add this on the outside of the bag. So I want a flower here. I'm going to do some leaves. And there isn't a ton of room, so I will not be using all of the flowers. That's just a personal preference. If you wanted to do flowers so the entire side was encased in flowers with some leaves tucked here and there, go for it. It's really whatever you like. So my thought is to do a flower here. And I know I had talked about doing a flower on this side, but I don't think I'm going to. And then I have my vines here. So I do like the idea of so I just cut the vine, and as you can see, because it's felted, it's not unraveling. So I like the idea of having the vine come out and just kind of curl around itself like that. And then another one here, kind of doing the same thing, and then a third in this area, and then maybe a leaf off of that, and then take one of the take the bud that we had made and kind of roll that up, and then I'll sew some vine around it like this, or stem, and with the leaf and the flower. So I'm kind of going with that. Dry felt the pieces together, because I think that would be interesting if I could do that. So when you dry felt, you have like a styrofoam block that you put underneath. And then you have your felting needle. And there are rubber, they're leather, they're not rubber, pieces. I do recommend wearing them only because I poked a hole in my finger numerous times. Because these needles are super sharp and it hurts. So this is just an experiment to see if we can actually get wet felted items to dry felt together. And so what I'm doing is I'm using a large felting needle, and on the end of the needle, and I don't know that you can see it and it's not focusing, there's actually little barbs, and what the barbs are doing is tearing the so I'll pull that out so you can see what the barbs did. It tears apart the actual individual fibers, and then it kind of, when you're pushing them in and out, it intermingles the fibers, and that's what gets it to stay in place. So I'm gonna go get my felting needle that has 5 needles. Here's a felting needle, or a felting holder, and it holds 2, 4, 6 in here. And as you go up and down, so you're able to do more than the one at a time. So we'll put that back there. So I know I'm gonna want 3 of the stems. So I'm just gonna, because they're all coming from this point here, because this is where I'm gonna have the main flower. So just, kind of hold them in place, and then start felting. So I am then going to add the flower here, add a couple more leaves. For this side here. Let me pull that out. This isn't felted down as well as it should be. So I'll do that. I'm going to work on felting and adding these here. And when I'm done, we'll be back. So I have felted the vines on, and this flower bud here, and then these pieces, I did a little felting, but I also used some glue because I am sewing these on with the needle and thread. And then I will add the flower here, and then I will reinforce the leaves with the needle and thread, and it'll be done, the same way as we did before, catching it through the fabric as opposed to seeing the actual stitches on the outside. And when I get that part done, I'll be back. Hey, welcome back. And as you can see, I have sewn on the flower and leaves onto the bag. The little bud here, the leaves. As you can see, when I was sewing on the leaves, I decided to add a little black stitching here, and to make it look like there are like the veins of the leaf, and then I did some stitching along the outside of the vines here. I think it just adds a little bit of extra texture to the finished product, and I just like the way it looks, so I did that. So then the next step is we are going to attach the handles, and I'm using a rivet for that. We'll attach the handles, we'll put the zipper on, we'll sew in the lining, and the bag is finished. So I have this rivet kit, and I'm gonna go with these like burnt metal looking rivets. And I need a total of 4, 1 for each side of the bag. And as you can see, it's much easier to see that the tip is pointing out, and I'm not, having to shove so hard to get it to come out. You put, the end of your rivet there. Put it in your cap. use your hammer. Hopefully I don't hit the camera. And now this is riveted to the bag, like so. And then I'm just going to repeat that for each handle, end of the handle, around to do 3 more times. And then we will be ready to do the zipper. And we're almost there. It's exciting. The bag is coming together nicely. And I'll be back. Hello, so you can see I have attached the handles to the bag with the rivets. So the next step is to add the zipper to the inside. And so what I like to do is put a little adhesive along this piece here, and then I hold it against the side of the bag like so. So then that glues it up, and I like to line this edge of the zipper with the top edge of the bag. So we'll do that. I'll let the adhesive set a little bit, and then I'll put the liner on the inside of the bag, and I'll sew through the liner and the zipper at the same time on this first side, and then we'll do the second side, and I'll come back. So I have finished sewing the first side here. If we open the bag, you can kind of see how the lining is attached, and you put the zipper first and then the lining, and then you sew through that. And I also, when I came to where the handles are attached to the bag itself with the rivets, across that top piece here, you can't really see it, but I did sew that. So now what I'm going to do is put adhesive on this part of the zipper, and we will be sewing the other end. And for this part, I do unzip the zipper because it just makes it easier for sewing. So I will do that, and as soon as that's finished, we will be back. I have sewn the zipper in and the lining in, and when we open it, let's see that there's the liner, there's the zipper. So the last step that we have to do is, because as you can see, the zipper is actually shorter than the length of the bag. So there's a couple of things you could just leave it, but I'm going to get this color wool yarn that I had used, and I'm just going to sew the ends over the end of the zipper closed, so that gray piece will be done. And then when you look at actually the bag itself, look at the bag, you can see that the handles on either side are offset, and I did that intentionally so that the bag would hang right when you hold it, because I didn't like the way it was hanging if they were the same on both sides. I also think it helps to add to the aesthetic of the bag and the way it is. So the last thing I'm going to do is close up these ends with some yarn, and then it'll be finished. And once that's done, I'll be back. Adding this pieces here, as you can see, I just kind of did an overcast stitch, kind of sealed that up a little on both sides. Here's our little change purse, which remember I did not line. Kind of just stick that in there, close our zipper, and our bag is complete. So here's the front, here's the back. You can get the zippers and the hardware at Joann's. Any of your local yarn shops generally have that kind of stuff. Walmart, I'm not sure if Target does or not, but any craft store online place you can get this. So this concludes our the video. Thank you for joining me. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Share the video with anybody who you think would be interested. And remember, always keep hooking, never stop. Peace.